All right, we got a couple special guests in the studio here that are popping on to join us as roving reporters in the fields. Why don't we bring on, I believe she's in, is it Massachusetts or Connecticut or Rhode Island? She'll tell us where she is. I always forget. I feel like I said the wrong. Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, she's one of my conservatory mates from Tom Todorow's conservatory. Let's bring her on here. Moneen Daley.
Hey, Brandon, nice to see you. I know you know it. The live free or die state of New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. It was like I knew I wasn't like I was dancing all around it. I was like putting a pin everywhere around you. New Hampshire, right. Which isn't far from Rhode Island, which isn't far from Connecticut, which isn't far from Massachusetts.
Right? All of those things. Yeah, I'm like an hour and 15 minutes away from every major market around me. Yeah.
All right. Well, I get consolation points for being close.
Yes.
So
and welcome. You have said the live free or die state before, so you get credit for that.
I did know it. It was in my brain. It was in there somewhere. I just had to knock it out. Yes. So welcome, Moneen. We spent 8 fantastic months in Tom Todorow's conservatory last year and the first half of 2022. And you popped on board here as one of our newest session directors, helping run some Zoom sessions remotely. So my questions are the same for you. Number one, what was one of your personal victories in 2022?
It's interesting because it's like a little bit of a retro goal because I am more of a seasoned age. On New Year's Day, I'll be turning 57, and I started in the business when I was 19. I've done nothing but make my living at the microphone for all of these years. Amazing. And for better or worse, I'm still standing, or actually sitting right now. So an opportunity came up to do a live gig, and I had to audition for it. And I have to say, I was infused with a lot of you, Lars, and a lot of you, Brandon, because of how relaxed and casual you come, whether you're performing or you're directing, because you have the confidence of your tools. And all of our tools come from, the same place. The Todorow Conservatory really feeds a good portion of our discipline and our methodology. So this was a live gig where I had to interact with the audience. It was online. It was a bunch of cold, corporate, boring 11 a.m. people. Okay, are you with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I have to emulate what, a live evening situation would be like. I had to curate a playlist based on the demographics. These are all things that I did in my late teens that I loved in live radio and live performances and haven't done in decades. And I got the gig. And yeah. And it seems like a stupid thing. Like, okay, that's not like a national thing. That's a local live thing or a regional live thing. But it had to do with my age and my state of mind, and that my intention was like, I want to be a leader in fun. I really want to have a good time. I really want to promote this establishment, and I'm going to do my best. And I did, and I got it, and I enjoyed it. However, I have to say I don't do it anymore because the time spent preparing did not equal with the time paid. So I'm not doing it anymore. But the fact that I got it and I enjoyed it, and post-COVID out in the world, and you know what it's like when you have a live audience. It's just you standing naked in front of everyone who's there, looking to you to provide entertainment, identity, security, stimulation, all of those things that you need to provide an audience with. So that was a lot of fun.
Amazing. Congrats. Thank you for sharing that. Number 2 is a highlight from any of your time with us here at Actors Audition Club.
Yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing, but I'm going to be honest about it, Lars, because it's telling. So, of course, we want to act like we know everything and we're confident and we have systems. But clearly, when it's the first time doing something, there might be a step missed. And working with one of your tremendous, talented, seasoned actors, I made a misstep. And so I was not able to capture the original takes that we were going for, and I needed to remedy that. So first of all, dealing with something quickly and not going into denial, which is something I think a lot of performers do. Like, I had prepared a Southern accent. I need to be from North Carolina. I prepared it for North Carolina. Well, no, we want you to do Minnesota, but you have North Carolina in your mind. So you have to like let go of that. I made a tragic mistake, but I need to own it and I need to remedy it toot to sweet, like pronto.
For the record, I might say that tragic might be a too big a word for it. Nobody died in the result of it, but that is how seriously we take our auditions here. We always treat other actors' auditions like our own, and we know that every audition can be a game changer and a life changer. So we do really strive to make sure that everything goes well. And what you're describing is a technical glitch. So continue, but I just not
No,
quite tragic, but
okay, thank you for that. That made me feel better.
good.
And of course, you know, the talent was had a sense of humor and was professional and seasoned enough to pick up where we left off, and ultimately happy, and ultimately with a strong scene. And it wasn't just an everyday scene. It wasn't just like a motor oil commercial. It was going into anaphylactic shock and dying. And so it was heavy lifting, but it was a happy ending, and it taught me to slow down, to go with my instincts, and just to do a test run. You know, okay, we're gonna do a 30-second little test here. You're gonna do some breathing exercises. You're gonna stay online. I'm gonna go back and review, make sure I like what I see, and then we're going to continue on. And so that's just a foolproof backup redundancy system for me, which I learned the hard way first time out.
Right.
And so yeah, I did drop into the fetal position and wanted the earth to swallow me up for a good period of time, but I lived through it and it taught me something.
Yeah,
So
it
stay
all
present.
worked out. Yeah, and it was a good lesson early on too. Good lesson for checklists, especially with technical stuff. You know, it's easy to miss technical things.
Right.
But one of my favorite things in life is fucking up and then fixing it. It's like,
Right.
well, it's pretty boring if you just do everything flawlessly always, and you don't learn from that. Somebody says that I heard someone say the other day that like victories are bad lessons, or often no lessons. Like winning doesn't teach you a lesson, but losing or fucking up teaches you a quick lesson. So thank you for sharing that. Number 3, dreams, goals for 2023.
Okay. It's a bit of a reiteration because I've talked with both of you about this before. But I'm really a fan of online theater and webisodes. I really think there's been a lot of progress. I had an idea about a multilingual, multicultural morning show. And that has evolved into more of an idea about a variety show. And it's just whether it's our ensemble group, it's the actors at Actors Audition Club. There's no shortage of talent, like everywhere you look. People that I work with privately, people that we all work with, and I'd like to have an avenue of that. And I sort of enjoy being like, you know, this is old school references, but like the Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, Dinah Shore, you know, those variety shows where you can have a serious conversation about socioeconomics, the environment, with someone who knows what they're talking about, and then also go into a pop song or 5 minutes of stand up and all right. Um, that just appeals to me so much that's what I'm working towards. I don't have anything tangible yet, but it's brewing.
Right. She's
Hey.
brewing it right now.
Exactly.
I like that. Sounds like kind of under the heading of one of the Todorofisms of everything is everything. Like nothing is only comedy, nothing is only drama, but real life and the real world is always a mix of both. So I like and I think a lot of us love those shows where shit can be really heavy, and then all of a sudden it can get really light, and then it gets real heavy again, and then it gets funny again. So it's great.
Right.
Congrats.
Right.
Well, throw it down on the calendar and start figuring out your reverse engineered little steps.
That's exactly it. Put an
Yeah.
end date and back up. That's exactly it, Lars. I'm good because I've said this twice now in front of both of you. I'm going to be held accountable now because
Yeah, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start texting you. Be like, Moneen, where is it? Where is it?
because you two have to be part of it, clearly.
Great. And final question for you was advice you want to share to other actors that you've learned yourself or been something that's been passed on to you.
Trust your gut. Again, we're all going to quote Tom, another Tom Todoroff quote: "First thought, best thought." Okay, and when your gut is telling you something, follow it. It doesn't matter if it's not logical. It doesn't matter if it's not linear. It doesn't matter if it doesn't match previous habits or familiar things. Go for it. And if I may just very quickly mention my son Ian, who is a junior at Stonehill College in Massachusetts, and he was studying chemistry, and he was doing all kinds of very serious, I'm going to get a good job, I'm going to make this education count. And I can't say that I'm a gleaming beam of success, but I'm a survivor. I'm a working survivor. And my son has seen every stage, the peaks and valleys of everything. And in the past couple years, he's learned to play the piano. He was the narrator for the recent production at Stonehill, and he played 3 parts, including doing some combat, some theater combat, which we know a little bit about too from our studies. And to see him bloom from, I sort of make fun of him a little bit. I used to call him, the Amish one, because he was so very reserved. But I feel through seeing him take chances and him seeing me take chances. We talk about the language of language. Like, he comes home with a Linklater book, and he comes home with Norton anthologies, and we're finding all of this common ground that's much bigger than just being a performer. And the way that he created some of his stagecraft so they could minimize scenes. I mean, everything was everything. And what he said was, it's not about me, it's about the production. And he was so humble about it. And right now, today, on this very day, even though I'm not in New York City, he's in New York City watching on Broadway. He's seeing Some Like It Hot, and with some of his friends. And so I know I sound like a mother bragging about her son, but it's just the proximity effect, and the fact that he's so much lighter and happier and expressive, instead of forcing himself to be, a square peg in a round hole. If you're feeling that, don't shush that. Don't think it's impractical. So go with your gut. If your gut is saying there's this itch I got to scratch, don't ignore it. Give a little scratch, and if it feels good, keep scratching.
Or get some lotion.
A little calamine lotion.
Depends what it is. Yeah. Maybe an antibiotic.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's great advice. Thank you, Moneen. Any other final thoughts?
Take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental health. This winter, we have friends in Buffalo. Thankfully, we're not in Buffalo right now, but anyone who's endured weather, which is much more extreme these days, mental health, especially for actors who put their emotions on their sleeves and need to be centered and not be triggered by other things. I began therapy again. I thought that I was all set, and when things like go your way and you're on an incline, I got it together. Well, you need to maintain too. You need a neutral person to vent to. And so, take care of yourself. Mental health.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you, Moneen. We love having you a part of Actors Audition Club here, and thank you for all your help and positivity as well. Check out getmovibe.com. Is that where they find you? Yep. And also, I just flashed this up here too. I'll flash it again. You can learn more about Moneen. I think her bio is up there, and you can book a self-tape session directly with her a remote session via Zoom at laughingvikings.com/Moneen. So you can go to laughingvikings.com/Moneen or check more about her voice work and voice training and teaching at Get Mo Vibes. Is it S or just Vibe?
Vibe. GetMoVibe.com.
GetMoVibe.com. We can put that in the chat too.
Yeah.